I said, you aren't dead, Jack, but you died. He said, how stupid. I'm not dead, but I died. Jack had gone 6 months and did not realize he had gone. People do not change, I'm telling you. They haven't any concept because they're still dreaming. You're dreaming this world, and you're dreaming that world too. You only awaken when within your own skull you become awake and you are born from above. When you are born from above, you come out. And all that is said in Scripture concerning the birth of Christ, you experience, and then you realize who Christ is. Until then you thought he was another, something in history 2,000 years ago. He is not another. It is Christ in you that is the hope of glory. And do you not realize that Jesus Christ is in you? And that you are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwells in you? Well, people do not realize this. Today, in the Christian churches, maybe hundreds of millions attended some portion of the 3-hour service. On Sunday morning, they'll be crowded to capacity in all the churches of Christendom. You know why? To show their new hats and their new dresses. On Sunday, on Fifth Avenue in New York City, they'll be coming out of St. Pat's and St. Thomas and all the churches, and cameramen will be there to photograph them. And do you know why? 2 months ago, that was arranged. These socially prominent women went into the editor of the New York Times and the other papers, and they made appointments. They told them exactly what they're going to wear, what the hat is like, what church they will attend, and what door they will make an exit from. And so the New York Times will send their cameraman, and when this thing comes out, dressed as he knows it's supposed to be dressed like this, he is going to photograph it and put it in the paper on Monday morning. And so on Monday, this coming Monday, maybe 50,000 more papers than normally are sold will be sold, because each will buy 100. Throw all the paper away and keep just the one page and send it off to all their friends and keep a few for themselves for posterity. And then the New York Times can claim that they had so many more sales. And all the advertisers who advertised in that paper for Monday just simply had a blank, because they aren't reading anything but their own little section, and it was all prearranged by the editor. That I know from experience, for my same Jack Butler, when they made a mistake in one of my ads once, he went down to investigate. So he went to the editor of the religious section, and she said he had to do something to pacify him, and she said, how would you like to see the editorial staff of the social section of our paper? Well, Jack was always out for fun. He said, I would love it. And it was just about 2 months before Easter. And all these ladies and their daughters were all around the place, dozens and dozens of them, waiting to be interviewed. Each was going to say exactly what we're going to wear. That's been ordered. The dress is all ordered and maybe already delivered. And the kind of a hat, and what church we attend, and where we're going to come out, and the cameras will be there to photograph it. And the morning paper will carry it as spontaneous. All spontaneous. And that's the dream world. A man just retired after very successful 30 years in the show business. His name is Sinatra. I recall this vividly when he was a young boy. I came out of my tailor on 48th Street, which was between 5th and Madison Avenue. I'm walking towards 5th. When I got to 5th, here is 3 dozen young girls, 16, 17. And here is a cab right in the middle of 5th Avenue. And here is this young lad. Well, he's 10 years my junior, so he was then, well, whatever it was then, when he got started. His foot on the runway, the cab stalled, traffic backed up, all the horns are honking, the cop is inquiring, and he is signing autographs to these 30 or more. All that was prearranged. To block the traffic, so what? They'll give him a ticket. They give the cabbie a ticket. And he'll pay it. It'll cost him what, $50, $100? But the publicity, all that was part of the motion. He kept that going until now. And people think, what a big, wonderful man. That has been promoted from the time that he began to breathe as a young lad, as a singer. And it goes all through our entire dream world. And how do you go? Don't stop it. You can't stop it. It's part of the dream world. I am not telling you of the dream world. I am telling you of the world wherein you will awake. And when you awake, you'll be clothed in your immortal body. And that is heaven. Heaven is not a realm. It's not an area. Wherever you are clothed in your glorified body is heaven, because nothing remains imperfect in your presence. If you walk through the petrified forest, it would all burst into foliage. If you walk in the desert would blossom. Everything would become beautiful. And things long dead, or not even visible, will suddenly appear because you walk by. So wherever you go, clothed in your glorified body, which comes with your resurrection, makes every place that you go perfect. For wherever you are, things must be perfect. That's what we are celebrating this week. But they aren't telling it that way. They're telling of a little man who died a horrible death 2,000 years ago. And then they took him down from the tree and then put him in a tomb. But God raised him from the dead. You are the one spoken of, and you are still hanging on that tree in a way, for you are nailed upon this body. And the nails are vortices. 6 vortices. A vortex, a vortex, a vortex, a vortex, and both feet. And they are whirling vortices that nailed you here. And may I tell you from my own experience, it was sheer ecstasy. It wasn't painful. There was no pain whatsoever. Sheer ecstasy. And then oblivion. And that oblivion was a complete forgetfulness of the being that you are. And you are buried in your skull. And in that skull you dream the dream of life, as you're dreaming it now. And because it is a dream, if you know it's a dream, you can dream anything to be. If you know it's a dream. You can control the dream. So what would the feeling be like if it were true? Well, you name what it is you would like to be true. And naming it, you dream it just as though it were true. Remain faithful to your assumption. And that assumption of yours, though at the moment appears to be false and denied by your senses, if you persist in it, it will harden into fact. This is the story, and I am telling you what I know that I have experienced. I have experienced the Lord bringing things into being that I dare to assume because I wanted them to be brought into being. And the other, which is the fulfillment of God's promise. For I was that Abraham, so are you. And we were shown the gospel beforehand. We were given a preview of it. And we were told, you will go into a world that is not yours. And there you will be enslaved. And there you will be injured. And there you will be maltreated. But after 400 years, you will come out. Now the 400 is not 400 as you measure time. 400 is simply a symbolical number of a cross. It is a numerical number of the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is the Toph. And Toph has the symbol of a cross. And this is the cross. So as long as I bear this, I am in the world of the furnaces. But I will come out of it. I will awaken within it, come out of it. And one day, soon after I awaken within it and come out of it, I will shed it. And shedding it, I will go back to the glory that was mine before that the world was. But enhanced